I haven't made a video with just giving a wholesaling advice in a while. It's been a bit, but I was motivated to do this video by a recent deal I did, and I'll get into the deal. But as a quick precursor before we get started, I'm going to be going over 3 points in this video. All 3 of these points are going to be pretty unique, hopefully, maybe things that you haven't heard before. It's not going to be like the same regurgitated content that you hear all the time. In the deal that I mentioned before, I had some buyers go out to the house, so it was a wholesale deal, and one of the buyers, while he was going and I organized him to go, he asked me who he's meeting at the house. Is he meeting me? Is he meeting somebody else? And I told him that he was meeting the seller there directly, and he was actually surprised. He was surprised he was meeting the seller, and then he asked me what I told the seller he is. So like, did I tell the seller he's a contractor? Did I tell the seller he's an inspector? And I said, no, I told the seller that you're a potential buyer. And him and some other buyers are going to the house, and the seller knew that buyers were coming to the house. And he was pretty surprised by this, because most of the time when he works with wholesalers, they have this like elaborate lie of, things that aren't true. So like, oh, I have contractors and inspectors and a paint guy and this and this and this. And I remember back when I first started, I've been doing this for a little bit, but I remember when I first started, even recently, year 2 years ago, I would send buyers to the house without telling the seller that they were buyers. So I was telling the seller that they were everything that I mentioned before, the contractors, inspectors, everything. And now when I do deals, I tell the seller exactly what is happening. I tell the seller, hey, these are buyers that we work with, maybe potential partners. Sometimes we do partner with them, usually not, but like, whatever. I say these are buyers. Like, this is a buyer, we're interested in the property, but we also have other people that we work with that are interested in the property, in buying it from us and working with us. And that's the first point in this video. Wholesaling real estate is a lot easier if you work in transparency. You would be surprised how many sellers are down for it. In reality, the seller has a price that they want. They don't really care how it gets done. They don't care how it gets to the finish line. As long as they get their money and they get the closing date they want and the terms that they want, they're happy. Getting rid of this notion that, oh, I don't want the seller to know I'm doing this. I want to tell them that I'm the buyer, even though you don't have the money or, the expertise or anything to buy it, or you're not local. Sellers are okay with it if you work in transparency. And I realized this probably 3 years ago. I realized this. I sent a buyer to a house that I had, and the buyer went to the seller, and the buyer was a contractor. This was 3 years ago. I sent the buyer to the house, and the buyer went to the seller. He was the contractor, and he told the seller everything. He showed them the text messages, everything. And the buyer literally just tried to backdoor me on the deal. The seller got upset because I was flipping it and I was kind of lying to him. I wasn't like lying, I just was extending the truth, you know what I mean? And he got upset with me, and that happened many times. And sometimes I'm able to keep the deals going, keep the deals on track and build that rapport again, but sometimes I'm not, and the deals die. And I've lost deals like that over the years. But those moments are stressful. Those moments are very stressful, very overwhelming, and trying to keep this elaborate lie thing going is kind of stressful as well, because it's like, oh, first contractor, the first buyer isn't interested. Hey, seller, I have to send a new contractor. And it's like, you just have to keep going, and they kind of suspect things when you're doing a showing with 4 people. And it's like, why is he walking around the house with all these people? Especially if you're a younger guy. And it's even more obvious. It's like, okay, what is he doing? And working in transparency is just way less stressful. I know I'm working in good frequency. I know I'm doing good business. I don't have to keep up this mirage of this lying thing, and the sellers know, everybody knows, and we're all good. And sometimes the sellers even ask me, what did they offer and things like that, and they want to see me make money. So that's something that I've learned, and that's something that I definitely advocate. If you're listening to this video and you don't do this, work in transparency. Tell the sellers that you want to send it out to some buyers, as well as, look at it for yourself. Feel like you're working more in line with doing good business. And especially with novations, if you're doing novations, you want to set the expectation up front that you're going to be listing on MLS. You don't want to get those calls later on where it's like, hey, I didn't know you were listing, I thought you were the buyer. It just gets messy. So that's the first point. Do good business, work in transparency. My second point on how you can make the wholesaling real estate business easier is by getting good systems, particularly a good CRM and running lean. So I made a video talking about how running lean is the move. I'm not going to elaborate too much on that, but getting good systems is key. So just for an example, this year I got a new CRM. I've had the same CRM for like 4 years, and this year I switched to a new one, and it's completely changed how I do business, to be honest with you. Last CRM I had was a task-based CRM, so it had like your daily tasks to do, and this one is an opportunity-based CRM, so it has like buckets of your opportunity buckets. If you know what I'm talking about, maybe you can understand. It's hard to explain, but it's an opportunity based CRM. It has everybody there that you should be calling, or you should be like looking through to see if you want to call them, instead of a task based CRM where you're just looking at your to-dos for that day. And that was really big for me. But the biggest thing with the CRM is you just click the name of the lead and it calls it. So the phone system, the dialer, everything is all built into the CRM. It has easy to read conversations tab where you can message the sellers. And compared to even a year ago, where I had the previous CRM I had, and then I had to use like CallRail and smartphone, and I was making a lot of calls from my cell phone, and it just wasn't efficient. If you watch like a video I posted a year ago where it was like 12 hours of calling sellers, all of those were on my cell phone because I was literally using my cell phone. And like your goal should be to not use your cell phone like in business. Like I don't remember the last time I talked to a seller on my cell phone. I can onboard employees faster and easier since it's all built in. I don't have to worry about making accounts on all these other websites. I don't need to pay for other platforms like smartphone and CallRail and all that stuff I mentioned. It's like $100 a month here and there, adds up. I don't have to worry about that. I can run leaner and all of that. If you want to see my systems, I have it in my link tree. You can check it out. It's not a sponsored post or anything, but just wanted to go over that really quick. That's been something that's really helped me a lot this year, and just having better systems, having a better CRM, and running lean. Like I don't have PropStream or Batch or anything. I just use the CRM and Zillow. Final way to make the wholesaling real estate business easier is by actually buying my coaching program. I'm doing a new coaching program. If you do it, then I'll teach you. And I'm just kidding. Just kidding. That's such a bad joke. imagine I was serious. No, but I don't coach. I've never had. I just don't have the energy. The energy. I don't have the energy to coach. Like I don't know. I just don't like micromanaging people. Even like employees I have, like I don't like micromanaging them. I couldn't imagine coaching, and then I would feel so like attached to making sure everybody does good. So whatever, that was a ramble. But for the third way that I've seen to make the business easier, and this is a weird one, and I don't think I've ever seen anybody talk about this, but it's removing emotional attachment from the business. So that doesn't mean not building rapport. You should still build rapport. You should still be friendly with sellers. You should be friendly with buyers, but you should remove emotional attachment from the deals, because it's business and it should be treated like business. Sellers and buyers will take advantage of you. Sellers will take advantage of you. They'll ask for things that you shouldn't be doing. Buyers will take advantage of you by, trying to get the price lower and saying like, yo, help me out, all this stuff. It's business. You need to treat it like business, and you shouldn't be afraid to cancel deals or ask for reductions because you feel bad for the seller. It is what it is. This is how it is. Don't feel afraid to ask for walkthroughs. Don't get stressed out by deals. It's business. It should be treated like that. When you sign a contract with a seller, let them know that you have all intentions on performing, but if the numbers don't work, then the numbers don't work. It's a numbers game. There's no emotional attachment in this, right? Because no matter what, even if you don't buy it, they sell it to somebody else, they can have another wholesaler that removed emotional attachment and cancels the deal or asks for the reduction, and they get it because they removed emotional attachment from the deals. You'll feel a lot less stressed. You'll feel it's easier to do the wholesaling business when you remove the emotional attachment from it and you treat it like a business. You make decisions that make sense money-wise. You're making money-smart decisions. You're not making decisions because you feel bad. Sellers have lied to me all the time, and I've let them lie to me. Tell me like a sob story, and then they'll sell it to somebody else. If you don't let your emotions dictate how your deals are going, you'll realize how much less stressed you are and how much easier it is to wholesale real estate. And just like any business, but real estate is a little bit more like prevalent because you're talking to sellers, you're talking to buyers. It's a lot of people involved. It's just business. And this also goes by employees. You can't let employees take advantage of you. If an employee isn't showing up, like recently I hired a lead manager. She was this Egyptian lady and she sounded so good in the interview. I was excited to have her. The first week she misses like 3 days. And I'm like, what's going on? She works like 5 hours the other day. She's supposed to work 8. And then the next week she gives me more excuses. And it's just like more excuses. And the first, I let her stay too long. I let her stay 2 weeks. I should have cut her after the first week. But it's a business decision. I can't have somebody like that on my team. And I can't have sellers that are just ridiculous that I'm working with. You have to make business decisions and you have to remove emotional attachment from these deals. If a deal doesn't work out, a deal doesn't work out. If a deal works out, then everybody's happy and the deal works out. And that's pretty much my 3 points. I just want to wrap this video up by saying something that I've said on the last few videos, that wholesaling is a pretty stressful business, a lot of down moments, very insecure about money at times, but there's also a lot of up moments. And with all said and done, there's not a lot of businesses where you're realistically one conversation, one work day, one call, I guess, away from changing your financial being. And you just need to make these calls and you need to look at it in the macro. So you need to look at it from like a long time frame, not in the micro, because in the day to day, you won't see a lot changing, but in the week to week, the month to month deals will get done. That's just how it happens. And I'm going to end the video off with a quote that I saw recently that I really liked. And the quote was, if somebody watched you working for a week, would they believe that you're serious about your goals?